just wanted to pass along a couple of things that I've learned through the process of building this router sled. A number of the things, when I made these brackets, I oversized the holes on the brackets just a little bit to give myself a little bit of leeway. Didn't really realize how important that was. When I first did it, I secured this one rail on my side and I put these brackets on. Knew I needed this aluminum on both sides to keep it from wanting to rack any, one way or the other. And all of that was super effective. And once it slid really easily when I was sliding this, I locked everything down. And then my thought pattern was, as soon as I slide it down, I'll just lock the other end on this rail and it'll all be right. Well, I thought it was right. I locked it down on this end, I slid it to the other end, I locked it down on that end, and then when I went to slide it back, it was binding. And so what I found out was the importance. I took those fasteners off of that rail, and then I loosened all of the bolts holding the linear bearings onto these brackets, as well as I loosened the aluminum plate. I didn't take them off, but just loosened them where there was a little bit minute amount of shifting available. And I loosened the linear bearing bolts here as well on all four. And then as I would run it around, it actually let those bearings shift just a minute amount, or not the bearing shifting, but the brackets that I had made and the plate and everything else. And I was able to snug a little bit, roll it around, check it, snug a little more, and at the end of it, when I had finished tightening everything and rolling it around, then it worked beautifully. And everything is rock solid, and there is no binding anywhere. So don't lock everything down. That was a big takeaway from this. Was I spent a lot of time undoing, trying to figure out what was wrong, when all I really needed to do was start with one fixed point, which was this one rail, and I made sure it was parallel to the back side of the table. After that, it was a matter of just moving stuff around a little bit and locking it down and snugging it where it could still shift a little bit, and then when I was done, I was done. I don't think I'm going to have any problem with that at all. I did do one little thing on my sled. I don't know about you guys, but one of the things that seemed like is the easiest to lose is the wrench that goes with your router. I don't know how many I've lost and had to use a different wrench. So when I built my sled, I thought about how could I keep this close to the router and not actually lose it. So I glued two little magnets, those super strong magnets, on the back of the sled right here. Stick it on there and it stays with the sled. When I put this up and get it off of the workbench when I need the space, it'll stay with it. I won't lose it. I won't have to dig for it in a drawer, nothing. And there we have it. The hose for the vacuum and the power cord, my intention is to suspend one of those tool hangers, for balancing when you adjust the tension, so that this hose will go up and then over and down to the vacuum. Eventually I'll have a dust removal system in the shop, but right now my budget doesn't allow for it, so it's going to be the shop vac. And so I'm just going to let both of them go up and over and down, and that way I have the freedom to move this all I want to move it without the hose or the power cord binding on anything. I don't have a lot more that I want to give you. This half-inch thick polycarbonate that I used, I was able to use the drill press. with no cracking, no problem whatsoever. I cut it with my radial arm saws. I got a really nice cut on that. This is slick. And what I'm using, this is for the router to mount on the sled. It is a polycarbonate that I'm using for this, and from my understanding, it's a lot less likely to chip and crack when I'm drilling the hole to mount the woodwork on it and mounting the router on it. So we'll see how all this pans out. And I had no problem with that whatsoever. Super impressed with this stuff. This Makita router that I got, it's 3¼ horsepower and variable speed, soft start. Really like it. We'll find out as time goes, but I think I'm not going to have any qualms about using it. I think it's going to be a wonderful tool just for what I got it for. So for right now, I think that's basically what I got. I'll keep you posted on my first project with it. And I hope this has helped just a little bit.